What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having an awesome day. So today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about whole foods versus processed foods. It's a topic that I am super passionate about, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are maybe starting on your weight loss journey or are looking to eat a little bit healthier this year are super interested about this topic as well. What I will be touching on in this video is how you can identify a processed food article or a processed food item, and how you can identify a whole food item. I will also be giving you a couple of examples of each of these food items. To finish off the video, I will tell you why exactly I'm touching on this topic and why it is so important to me and why you guys should care as well. So first things first, how can you identify a processed food item? So the first way to identify a processed food item is if it comes in a packaging of some sort. Usually they're put into packages and they're also made to be shelf stable, or they're going to be able to sustain their shelf life for quite a bit of time. This shelf life can be up to years, weeks, or months away. Another way to identify a processed food item is if it has a long list of ingredients. And lastly, the easiest way that you can identify a processed food item is if you can't tell what its original form was. Here is one example of a processed food item, which maybe some of us might have not thought that it was a processed food, but it is. Here's our first example of a processed food item. We've got a loaf of bread, right? Some of us might have not thought that this was a processed food item, but here it is, folks. One key takeaway of why it is a processed food item is because it comes in a packaging. It also is unidentifiable to what it used to be, right? Bread is made out of grain. Does this look like grain seeds to you at all? Not really, right? So it is something different than what its original form was. Lastly, to top it off, you can see that it has a ton of ingredients, a ton of different ingredients that get that piece of grain to look like a loaf of bread. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get this type of item to you, right? It's not going to come straight in the grain. Here's another example of a processed food item, right? We've got our almond milk. Some of us are allergic to milk. It might be a little bit healthier to us, but just know that these are also processed food items. How can you tell? Right? You've got your long list of ingredients there, and right, you can't really see the almond in here, right? Besides the cover, you can't really see the almond from which this milk, right, comes from. So those are two identifiers, obviously. How can you identify a whole food item? Well, a whole food item, they typically do not come in packaging, right? Unless it's some sort of meat or yogurt, something that contains fluids that they need to be packaged in some way. The second way that you can identify a whole food item is that they do not contain an ingredient list, or it is very minimal, probably just the food item itself. Typically, whole food items, whole food articles tend to go bad a little bit quicker than processed food items because they are meant to be used pretty much within a couple of days or so. And the easiest way to identify a whole food item is that you know exactly what it is or what it used to be, right? It's not something completely different from what you see or you will get from the original plant or from the ground, from the root, wherever you're getting this item. So I have a couple of examples here, a couple of ideas that you can use as whole food items. Super easy, probably some foods that you guys like already. My first example for today is a banana, right? So banana, as you can tell, right, no ingredient list on this, right? No packaging besides the skin, and you can obviously tell what it is, right? It came from a banana tree. You got a banana, you're gonna get some good nutrients from this. Probably one of my most favorite food articles that is a whole food. Article number 2, Greek yogurt, right? So Greek yogurt, basically, this is gonna have an ingredient list. If you look at the ingredient list, the only thing that this will have is just pasteurized milk, right? Just one simple ingredient. Obviously, it has to come in a packaging. Why? Because yogurt is liquid. If it did not come in a packaging, then it'd probably spill everywhere, right? And obviously, where yogurt comes from cow's milk. It takes a little bit of a process, right? So it's a little bit processed, right, to get it to you. But it is not like those other processed foods where you can't tell exactly what it used to be. So why am I telling you guys all of this? What's the point of me telling you about whole and processed foods today? So one of the reasons I am telling you about processed versus whole foods is because one of my goals is for you not to drop all processed food at once, right? I don't want you to do that. I know it's super hard. Some of us have been in that habit of maybe eating a lot of processed foods that we may or may not know that they are processed foods, but we're in that habit and maybe we're accustomed to eating those type of foods. So dropping them right away, right, getting rid of all that stuff and trying to go straight into a whole food diet would be something I would be proud of you for doing, but I wouldn't recommend because it's going to be a big change. And that big change might not result in that long-term success that we want to maintain. My goal for you guys is, instead of eliminating all of those processed foods, see if you guys can add a couple more whole foods. And you guys are going to tell the difference in your energy and your body weight, right? You guys are going to feel more full. You guys are going to feel more nutrients within your body. You guys are going to feel properly fueled and ready to go for the day. Allow your body, allow your taste buds to explore these new flavors, right? Some of you guys may even reconnect with old dishes. That's what I have found in my food journey, right? I have found that I have reconnected with old dishes such as beans, right? I love beans now. They're probably my favorite whole food item on the menu now. And you can just reconnect with some of your culture, right? So again, my goal is not for you guys to get rid of all processed food. I know that is difficult, especially in the culture that we live in. We're used to fast foods, right? Something quick, even a microwavable meal, right? We're used to all that, but all that stuff is processed, right? But again, my goal is not for you to get rid of all of those processed foods all at once. Take a couple of baby steps, right? Take a couple of baby steps, implement a little bit more whole foods, and see how you guys like that process. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. Leave any comments, anything that you guys would like me to touch on, right? Any health advice, any tips that I can help you guys with, feel free to let me know down below. Okay, hope you guys are having an awesome beginning to your year, and happy 2022. Peace, guys.